Hey guys, so welcome back to the second video in this three-part series, right, in creating a website using Cheetah. Now, in this particular video, what we're going to do is actually go into the editor, kind of walk you through what to expect so that you too can become familiar with the actual platform and be able to start designing and feeling confident about the work that you're designing. Okay, but first, before we do that, there is another area that's related to your actual personal website, which is your pop-ups. So any pop-ups that you create that will pop up at certain times inside your website, right? This is where you would go to do it. This is going to house all of your pop-ups related to this particular website. Okay. So now, again, as I mentioned, the drop down here is specifically, again, to this page, okay, which I went over in the first video. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and go into edit page and get started here. But before I do that, I want to go over these little areas here. The first area is going to be this little house, which pretty much is going to take you to the previous screen where you can take a look from a bird's eye view of your website and everything inside your website, meaning all of the pages that are inside your website. Okay. This little coffee cup. Now in the first video, I talked about support and how to make sure that you double check your steps right before claiming or submitting a ticket or a support ticket, so on and so forth. Well, those guys work really super hard, right? And to show our appreciation here and there, what you could do is click on this little coffee icon cup here, right? And actually make a small donation to the coffee fund over in our support team, which is super cool. Now here's your desktop view. So that's the current view that it is on. So as we design here, and we design it from our desktop, right? What we just need to do is click over to the cell phone view, and it is going to show you what you've designed on your desktop and what it's going to look like from the cell phone view. Okay. Now over here we're going to have tutorials. So if you left click on that, you're going to have a lot of different tutorials related to Cheetah. So anything that I don't cover or things that I do cover, you can go back in here and relearn it, go through it again, right, to feel comfortable with it. And then over here is going to be a ruler. Now this ruler, super cool if you've got maybe you're aligning pictures. So let's take, for example, 3 picture frames. Okay, if when those 3 picture frames are in here and you want to make sure that they are lined up straight, okay, what you could do is the top of the picture starts here, and let's say the first picture starts right here, right? So what I would do is I would take that picture, drag it, and then it would snap to the corner of this line. And now you have kind of the starting point. So every picture, let's say that you snapped into here, would come out straight, just as long as they're like the same size or so on and so forth, okay? And depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, so next what we're going to do is go ahead, we're just going to hide that ruler. I don't necessarily use the ruler because there's this new added feature, which I'm going to show you, that is really super cool. Showing grid lines will kind of show you the safe zone when you're creating a website, right? It's kind of keep your information, all your pictures and stuff kind of blocked into this area, which is pretty big. Now, I don't like to use these grid lines, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And rather, I like to use those grid lines, okay? Which is a little bit, which gives me even less space, but that's okay. And we're going to walk through this so that you better understand that. Hidden elements, we may get a chance to show you how that looks. Oftentimes, you may not use that. But if we get the opportunity to do so, I will definitely show you what that is and how that works. Your save buttons, very important. Just like the famous Shelley Turner would always embed in us during our trainings. As you're creating stuff, please save frequently, right? Save is your friend, as Shelley would always say. So please, and I will honestly tell you that before this training's over, you're going to see that I don't take even my own advice. Okay, I'm going to forget to save, and that's going to be a learning process for me. So just thought I would want you to be different than me, right? And make sure that you're utilizing that save button. Once you save it, then you're able to use the preview button. Okay, so that's pretty much going to sum up this area here. Now the area that you're going to be using the most is right down here. Okay, so the first one that we're going to take a look at is the add button. Okay, so especially this button here is what you're going to use. Your website is going to be created by 2 different categories, and those categories are both here, which are panels and elements. Think of this right here, which is a panel. Think of the panel as a canvas. Okay, think of elements as the art that goes on top of the canvas, right? So they work together to create something really amazing, okay? Now this area down here that doesn't adjust as I hover over it or whatever is pretty much just dead space. We're not going to use this, okay? Other than kind of just housing temporary elements until we can get the panel just the way we want it. And that's something that you'll probably see me do as we work through this, okay? So there's panels, which are these, and elements. Now you could just have one panel and put a whole bunch of elements inside that panel. Or you can slowly, what I highly recommend is break down your website into about 4 different panels, okay? So what we're going to do is get started with showing you exactly how to put together the panels and elements. Okay, so far in video number 1, we did the whole setup thing with Cheetah, right? Getting you familiar with the different views before you get to your editor. Next, we've kind of walked you through some of the important links here in your editor to help you better understand and how to navigate through here. Now what I'm going to show you is in depth these panels and these elements and start creating content using panels and elements. But first, what I want to show you is I want to identify and expose all of the different elements that are available to you in Cheetah. So if I click here, you're going to get a drop down of all of the different elements, okay? Now the way this is designed, think of it as a filing cabinet. So these are all filing cabinets. This is the top filing cabinet. This is the second of the top filing cabinet, right? And when I click on it, I'm opening the filing cabinet and I am able to grab something out of here. Maybe I want to grab the paragraph, the title 6, the different size fonts, right? Okay. Or maybe I want to grab a specific box, okay? And these are the different elements. So there's text, there's boxes, there's buttons, contact forms, and email marketing forms. Now the difference is the email marketing form is a very popular form that's going to house or help create list and manage your list, okay? So in order to use the email marketing form, you have got to use the application in the back office called Mailing Boss. Go in there, do a separate tutorial watch on that because it's pretty extensive, right? And once you learn how to create forms and lists, right, you can come in here and then kind of connect the list so that you're capturing information from your website. And then your contact form is going to be very similar, except you're going to all the information that you capture from your client or your customer or your visitor, right, is going to send you the information directly to your email. It's going to land in your inbox, okay? Whereas opposed to the email marketing form is going to be systemly stored. So it's going to not only just be stored kind of in the email marketing content, but it's also going to send out pre-made emails and communications and things like that. Definitely a different tutorial worth watching, right? This is of great value, okay? This alone is probably worth the value price of the actual platform if you're going premium, okay? But to think that you get this powerful tool with this package is just quite amazing. There's iframe. Here's a good example. So any HTML coding or coding and stuff, let's say you want to drag this in and create a map for your business, right? You can actually do that and then just enter the code and then it'll display per what the code, how the code is written, okay? So next is images. So as you want to add images, just close that and drag and drop your images right in here. There's lines, there's menu, there's timers, and then there's video. Now the 2 different types of video that you can add are YouTube videos and Vimeo videos, okay? And all it is super simple, super easy. All you have to do is just copy paste the actual link of where the video is housed and it will start showing from your own website, right? So those are the different elements, okay? When you get a chance, go in here and mess around with these, play with them, add them onto your website, right? Start creating with them. And that is, like I said, is the best way you're going to learn. Now take a look at these panels. Panels again are different. So these are just the areas here that house the elements. But these panels, this right here is a blank panel, which is the very first option, right? Everything else under here, these are pre-made templates that are stored in each one of these filing cabinets, right? So for example, the first fold, we open up that filing cabinet. Look at this. Look at this amazing stuff, this artwork. So what I'm going to do first is just, let's say I'm opening up or building a website for consulting, right? I could just left click on my mouse and it instantly drags it into here. So now I've got two panels. Okay, I've got this panel, which is blank. Then I've got this pre-made panel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this panel and I am going to delete it. Okay. And again, this is that blank panel. So what you just saw there could be the total outcome after you've put your elements all together. You can basically get what I just deleted. All right. Other panels that are on here, click this to close it. There's blocks, there's call to action, there's the checkout, right? So here's the interface. If I was selling stuff, right, here's just a simple template for checking out, right? So obviously it would have to be customized to your needs or to your client's needs, but this is a good way to sell products that are less than 10 items on this particular website or domain, okay? If you're selling more, then yes, you want to use a different application, which is called e-commerce, and that will be finalized here at the end of December. All right, then you can add like contacts, right? Just information. You can add a form. There's a little website with it. There's so many, again, like I mentioned, there's so many different templates. Hey, then there's features, there's contents, there's footer, there's funnel, there's header, there's opt-in, and then there's pricing table. Okay, team. So you want to introduce your team and put a little bio under them. Then you could also do that. So that's what team looks like. Hey, and then testimonials. You can actually go in here and pull a template with testimonials. Okay, super cool stuff. So again, just by using these panels that are already pre-made, you can create a website easy. Okay, all right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this all works. So again, we started off with a blank template. I kind of show you what we can produce, right? Either the shortcut way or just from scratch. And I'm going to work through showing you what and how to build from scratch. So the first thing we're going to want to do is walk you through this here. So this is a panel, right? And what you need to get used to is right clicking on your mouse. When you do that, you get control over whatever you clicked on. So I'm going to click on this panel. That's the only thing there. I'm going to right click and look, there's two menus that pop up. This one first is like a little sub menu, really small. And then here's the main menu. Okay. The main menu, once it's open, because it says panel, I'm going to click on size and then I could adjust the height on the main menu. Okay. So for this example, we're going to do it pretty high. We're going to do it right there. Okay. Now we just adjusted the size. I can also adjust the background color. So let's take, for example, I want to change that to more of a darker black color or lighter black color. And then I'm going to close this background right here. I can add a border to it, but it's ridiculous because this is the outer part of the website. So I'm not going to quite add a border. You can add tags and then you can go in here to advance. Okay. So now we've got the meat and potatoes part of the website, at least one of the panels. I typically would like to have about 3 or 4 different panels holding the different parts or pieces of each element. Okay. So next what I'm going to do is I am going to go in here, and I'm going to add a panel. I'm going to add a header. Okay. So let's click on header, and all we got to do is select one. Right? I left click with my mouse. Now I've got 2 panels here. So how do I know that? Well, if I right click here, this is one panel. Then if I right click here, here's another panel. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is when you right click it, again, this menu pops up, so that gives you control of that area. I'm going to adjust this just like that. And the sub menu that popped up, well, here's a good way to use it is I can hit the up arrow, and now its position out of the 2, it makes this one the very top panel. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag this over like this. Since this is not a login or a membership website of any sort, I'm going to go ahead and just delete that for now. Okay. And now I've got a header, I've got the meat and potatoes, and now I need a footer. So what I'm going to do is go to Add, go to Panel, click on Footer. And because this is a place of business, I mentioned it's a barber shop. I'm going to go ahead and select this one here. So I'm just going to left click there, and this is going to come in. And now I got just a variety of different colors. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is go up here, right click on this. Okay. And check this out. I'm going to select background because I want to change the color. And I'm going to change it to red, but I want you to pay attention as I click here, what happens. This does not change to red. And why is because, well, there's two options to create a background. One is the actual solid color, and the other one's going to be a picture. So there's already a pre-designed picture here loaded. So I'm going to click on the trash can and it's going to delete it. And when I do, the original color that I selected for the background will show up. Okay. Now, same thing for the bottom here. I'm going to right click on this bottom. Okay. Next, I'm just going to click maybe black and just leave it like that for now. So now I've got these three different areas. Okay. This is current, like this one here. This is a template, but it's currently housing two different elements. One's a text element here, and one's a text element here. Okay. And they're both in this box. Okay. So here there are actually three different elements. Okay. Now, next what we're going to do is right click here. Okay. Go to size. Make this bigger. Again, next I'm going to go to background. Okay. And then I'm going to go to search. Now here's how you upload photos. Okay. You're just going to select the upload button. Find the photo that you're looking for in your computer. It's going to upload it. And then it's going to show up here. This area right here. And then as you go down this way, this is your most recent photo that you've uploaded. Okay. So for this example, we're going to just click on this photo here. Hit select. And then now I have a background image that looks like this. I have a header and a footer. Okay. So next thing I want to do is go in here. Click on Add, go to Elements, go to Box. I'm just going to drag this box in here. Okay. So again, if I right click, I get the option to adjust the size of the height. Oh, let me make sure that that's selected. Oh, that's the minimum height. I clicked on the wrong thing. So let's go here. Did I do that again? Size is what I'm supposed to be picking, right? Or what I could do is I can right click on this, which is so much easier. This little dot's going to come up in the corner here, and you could just left click on your mouse and just drag and create whatever size you want. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over this way. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to again right click there, go to background, and I'm going to select black. Next thing that's missing, I think, is the border here. So I'm going to click on border. I'm going to select a white border, but I'm going to go down here and select what kind of border, which is a solid, and the thickness in the line of the border, well, I want to keep it to 3 at this particular moment. Next, what I'm going to do is right click in here, okay, and then go to Add, go to Elements. We're going to close this here, this filing cabinet. We're going to go down to Image. When I open up Image, you see this little image here. You're going to left click on your mouse, drag it over here. And now what you're going to do is to take control over this element, you want to right click. Now look up here. Okay. Nothing is, it doesn't tell me where I'm selecting or what area I'm in. So I'm going to right click on this, on your mouse, on this picture. Okay. And then it's going to come up with, I'm going to have total control here. So now what I'm going to want to do is go to General Settings. I am going to go to Search for Image. And next I'm going to select this image right here. Hit select. I'm going to drag this up, right click it, and then I'm going to resize this photo, bring it up like this. And for now I'm just going to, let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. All right. Now what you can do is right click on this, okay, and we can add a border to it. If we want to, what we can do is go to border and click on the line, which is a solid line. Maybe I might want to go a little bit more of a grayer, and then hit that number there, and this is what I got so far. Okay. Now, let's say I like the color of this border here, or any color of anything, right? But I am really focusing on this border right here. Okay. If I right click on that, it's going to take me to what color this is on that border, right? Because it says border. What I'm going to do is take this code, because this is the code of that, copy it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. Okay. I've right clicked on my mouse. This pops up. I'm going to copy it. Now look, as I was mentioned earlier, here are the line guides, right, that you can go in and adjust. And now what I've done is I've created two photos with the same border. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this outer box. I'm going to go here, remove that, Control V to paste it. And now I've got all of these matching. They're all matching now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just drag this over here. As you can see, the lines align perfectly as far as the height goes. And we're just going to leave that like that. Next, we're going to right click on here, do another copy. Now what we're going to do is right click on this picture so we have control of that. Go to General Settings, go down to Search. And this white area is a generic logo that I created. I'm going to upload that in here or add that into here, adjust it, and now put it in here. Now what is super cool, okay, is that this box here is housing all of these. Okay, so now I can actually center this to this box by just clicking on it, right clicking on it, and then selecting these lines, these horizontal lines, and it's going to center it perfectly to the center of this box. Okay, so here's where you would have to maybe grab these and make the best adjustment that you possibly could. Just kind of eyeballing them. I don't know. Okay. And there you have it. You have this box. So obviously this box is really too big. So we're just going to close this up. We're going to do something like this. Center that. Now what's happened is this is over to the left, right? And what you could do is whenever you put elements inside a box, you now have control over that entire box. Which also means that if I right click on this box and hit center, this is now going to center it to the middle of my website, center of my website. Okay. Now what I could do is I could, again, right click here, take this, go down to the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is go to Add, Elements, Select Button. I'm going to select this button right here and drag it in here. Okay. I'm going to right click on this button so it gives me the options here. I'm going to select Border. I'm going to change that color to more of a white. Okay. And then I'm going to just drag this down a little bit. I'm going to go to Headline, which is the main headline, and then the subheadline are any words underneath this line. Okay, so now that that's picked, instead of it saying buy now, join our newsletter. Let's just say. Okay. Now we can go in here and adjust the color to this so that it pretty much matches that one there. And there's our button. Right click on the button to center it. And we're set. So far we've got a header, we've got the meat and potatoes page, and then we also got the footer page down here. Okay. So just to cheat a little bit, to kind of give you an idea, what we're going to do is go to Add, going to select Panel, going to close the footer part of it, and we're going to go to Pricing Table. We're going to scroll down to find one that we're really interested in taking a look at. We're going to select this one right here. As I select it, it's going to get dropped at the very bottom, which means all I got to do is right click on the panel, hit the up arrow, and now I think I've got things the way I want it. Again, I'm going to right click on this panel. I'm going to go into background. I'm going to see if this is an image. Obviously it is, right? So we're going to go ahead and just delete that. And instead, come up here to the color swatch and select the color. Right? Maybe that's a solution there for it. I'm not going to worry so much about these links. If you were creating a website and you created a pricing guide, yes, these would have to lead you somewhere. So just from a visual standpoint, this is kind of what we're looking for. Okay. All right, next what we're going to do is, this is the pricing guide. This is to sign up for the newsletter. This is kind of the home menu, and down here is the footer. What we haven't done, as I mentioned earlier, is we haven't saved this. So we're going to go ahead and click save. That's fine, and then we're going to select preview. And this is what we got so far. Now, if I take you back to the very top, you're going to notice that this, I kind of lose it as I scroll down, right? So I would have to scroll back up in order to click on the next menu bar. By then, I might as well have just stopped right here, right? Okay. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that last video. Please don't forget to comment down below, ask your questions, and like this video. Also, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to include the bell. That way you get all of the latest updates and all the new videos that I release. In addition to that, I might have some pretty good, interesting videos that you might want to check out in the description. So don't forget that, and I'll see you in the next video.